Good everyone, on this video today we have a review on the German starter pack. This is one of the many packs that we have in the game available for purchase, and of course as part of something that I'm going to be doing, I'm going to be reviewing all of them. Of course, when China eventually gets one, which I don't know why they still don't have one, I will obviously cover that as well. But of course, we're doing them in nation order, so those of you who are expecting the Russian one, that's next. But of course, if you're new to the channel, I would probably, by the time you come to this video, you'd likely have seen that I've published the Russian one anyway. So of course, we're starting out with the plane, and then we're going to move to the tank. And starting off with the German starter pack, we have the HE112B1U2. And before I continue, all of the packs come with 7 days of premium and also 120,000 silver lions. Just remember that, because this pack it's like the US pack. It has one good vehicle, but also has a trash slash pointless vehicle. And unfortunately, this is the trash vehicle. The 112 this 112 is definitely not what I would call a stellar aircraft nowadays. The B2U2 that you can get on the marketplace is still competitive to some extent, but this one, no, this thing compresses like a bitch, it handles horribly, and what's the point of flying it when it's one of the worst rank 1 premiums I can think of? Like, seriously. Now, what I would do to change this pack, because obviously this plane is the negative part of this pack. This entire aircraft is the negative side. That's how bad it is. Um, what I would do to change this pack is I'd probably give a premium Dornier 17, like maybe the Dornier 17 that attempted to bomb. I think it was London, and then it was rammed by a hurricane. I'm not sure the tail number or anything like that, so I can't confirm that. But I'm pretty certain it was a Z2 Dornier 21 or Dornier 17, and maybe they could get the tail number, a unique skin, and maybe, I don't know, have like deliberately sliced off part of the elevators or like the rudder just to commemorate the fact that the hurricane slammed into it. That's what I'd do, because it would make more sense than putting a 1-3 tank it with a 2-3 plane where it can potentially see 3.3 matches where the 20mm on the 140-1 will not do shit. But that's just me. Of course, I have a full review of this aircraft on my channel, so if you're new to the channel, I will leave a link in the description to this vehicle, and you can have a look for yourself. I also have a review for the 140-1. It's a little bit out of date, but it will still showcase what the vehicle can do. But this vehicle right here is the negative side of the pack, because it doesn't pack any form of weaponry in terms of secondary weapon options. So no bombs, no rockets, or anything like that, not even gun pods. And this is the real problem with it. It lacks CAS, it's 2-3, and is majorly outclassed by some of the fighters that it's going to. Well, I say some, I say most of the fighters that it's going to meet. Now, sure, it is more maneuverable than some of the fighters that it's going to meet, but maneuverability can only take you so far, and unfortunately, when it comes to Air RB, this thing is quite bad. And obviously, you don't have to just use it in Air RB, you can also use it in Tank RB. The 20mm autocannons are not that great for dealing with targets on the ground. They can pen around 20mm of armor, but personally, it's just not worth using the cannons for that, purely because the plane's performance is best used as a fighter. But as I said, a lot of the fighters that you're going to meet are either faster than you or they turn better than you. It's just that sort of thing. And you can't always guarantee that you're going to get one of those things to come in your favor. And, well, it's just not a great plane. As much as some people would probably love the 112s, this one, no. If you really want something like a early premium, the only things that would make well, in fact, the only thing that would make sense is probably the B2U2 or the H51 B2H. Both of these are available on the marketplace. Of course, you have to link up your account and everything like that. But because Rank 1 Germany is so limited in what you can get, because obviously if you chose Germany aircraft as your starting nation, this is the vehicle you would receive, so I didn't include that. But there really isn't a lot of options. Obviously, the Focke-Wulf 189 is ridiculously expensive, so I mean it's a fucking great plane, but you get the point. But that's just what it is really, and unfortunately, there's not a lot you can do about it. In terms of tech tree options, however, if you choose to replace the 112, there's plenty of options like the Stuka, the J88. For fighter roles, there's the BF-191. There's also the HS-123, which, well, that's one of my favorite dive bombers, and it's just aircraft like that. But I think the problem is with this pack is the plane is just completely poor. But when we come to the tank, we start to see where this pack gains its traction. Now, this is the SDKFZ 140-1. I believe it's also called the Aufklärungspanzer 38T. I might be wrong about that. Because first thing in the morning, no caffeine. Just give me a break. But this tank is pretty well known for being part of a SEAL Clubbers sort of lineup. Its battle rating 1.3, it carries the 20mm KWK 38 cannon, and this thing packs a freaking punch. Like, past 500 meters, the cannon is, well, it'll do, but it won't kill everything. But up close and personal, it's penning pretty much anything you meet. And with the mobility and trollish armor, this thing is a great starting tank. And I'm actually surprised they put this in as the starter pack premium. But, I mean, it is a very good tank and it's very forgiving. So let's go into why. Of course, armor is 50mm thick across the front of the vehicle. There is some few spots where it's only 15, and the gun shield up here is 30mm thick, so this can stop 50 cal fire, but this won't. The side armor is around 30mm as well. The upper side is 15 though, and the rear is 30 as well, with the rear being 15 as well. The side of the turret is 10 and the rear is 8. The compartment over the top is completely unarmored. The mesh screens you see here are purely for grenades only in real life, but of course, in the game, because it's to allow for gun elevation, these are placed like ears, which we call this thing the bunny tank for a good reason, because it looks like a rabbit with its ears sticking up. But the reason why is because this thing can also work as an anti-aircraft vehicle, with its gun elevation going all the way up to 70 degrees. If you really want to, you can use this thing as a spag if you absolutely have to. I wouldn't recommend it because obviously you should really be shooting at tanks, but for the tier, this is easily one of the best anti-aircraft vehicles. Like I know it's a light tank, but it can work as a spag bloody well. It's got a 20mm autocannon, as I mentioned. It's got a coaxial 7.92 MG42, which not many vehicles in the game actually have the MG42. Most of the time it's the MG34, so having the extra fire rate of Hitler's buzzsaw, it really is a benefit and really should be used correctly. Of course, if you're new to the game, you're probably wondering, why is my 20mm feeling a bit lacking in up tiers or like in general? Well, it's because you're likely using the stock belt, which contains this round here. This isn't the stock belt, this is just the upgraded belt where you can fire nothing but that. But I don't recommend that. You want to use the Panzergranate 40 rounds. Now, of course, over 500 meters, the penetration drops, well, as you can see, past 100 meters more like, the penetration drops off severely, and that's the major downside. The reason for that is because it's such a light projectile. I mean, look at it, 0.1 kilograms. The wind resistance will eventually slow it down, and of course, once it gets to 2,000 meters, it's literally paying 1mm of protection. So it's not going to be doing an awful lot. But if you're firing at 2,000 meters anyway, chances are you're just spraying and praying. So don't rely on it. Of course, the vehicle does come with a default belt, but this default belt is quite poor. It does come with a high explosive belt for dealing with aircraft, although personally I don't carry it. The Panzer Granate rounds are They're okay, but they're not amazing. And of course, the Panzer Grenadier 40 tends to do the job of everything pretty dang well. The vehicle's mobility is decent as well, and, well, it's got a good top speed. The reverse is a bit lacking, but of course this is rank 1, so you can't exactly expect everything. But there is a lot of potential for this tank to work, and for new players to get their hands on this thing, it is a very forgiving vehicle, and I'm actually sort of glad they are giving new players a fighting chance with this sort of vehicle. Because obviously nowadays there's a lot of power creep, and there's a lot to discuss in that regard. So now it's time to discuss the pack. Should you buy this pack? Personally, I'd buy it just for the tank. I'd wait for a discount, personally. Normally around November, it comes to around 50% off, and that way you're at least getting your money's worth out the tank. I mean, even if you don't use the plane that much, and maybe use it for CAS, I mean, it'll do the job. But of course, the main selling point of this pack is the tank. The tank is the best part. I realize I've said that about 2 packs now, but don't worry, the Russian pack will change that because both vehicles are very good. So make sure to tune in for the Russian pack if you haven't already. But of course, that will come eventually. But anyway, I'm going to let you guys off. I hope you enjoyed today's review on the German starter pack. Of course, both vehicles will have their reviews linked in the description in case you were curious. And I will see you all on the next one.